Alright kids, so we are going to go over 4-2, and the name of this section is the angles of triangles. So one of the number one things that you need to take from this section, that you need to know, is that the sum of the interior angles in any triangle equals 180 degrees. So any triangle at all, don't care what it is, scalene, obtuse, right, whatever, if you take the interior angles, all three of them, you add them up, they equal 180 degrees every single time. So graphically, or visually, this is what it looks like. Take a triangle, if I had A, B, and C. If I added this up, the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B plus the measure of angle C, that's all going to equal 180 degrees. So, how are we going to use this information? Well, what's going to happen is you're going to get problems where you've got two of these measures and you're missing the third one. So, let's take a look at an example problem. Let's say this is 45 degrees, and let's say this one is 70 degrees, or let's say 75. And this we'll call x. So what's going to happen is, in order to find out x, you're going to say 180 degrees equals 45 plus 75 plus x. So 45 plus 75, that's going to be 120. So we're going to say 180 degrees, or 180 equals. You can have the degrees there if you want to. You don't need them for this purpose. 120 plus x. Now we take away 120 on both sides. This cancels. We end up with x equals, and 180 minus 120 is 60. So that means this thing right here is going to be 60 degrees. So then we'll get problems where we actually have multiple angles we have to find. And these ones sometimes take a little bit of extra thinking to do, but they're not too bad. So let's say we've got this right here, and let's say we've got angle, let's say this is 1, this is angle 2, this will be angle 3, say this is 28 degrees, and this is 71 degrees, and this is 57 degrees, and we want to solve for the measures of angle 1, 2, and 3. Let me zoom in on this a little bit for you. Alright. So what we're going to do is we're going to go piece by piece using any information we have to solve it. Right away I'm thinking for this one right here, this information, the information we went over isn't going to help us out, because I know this is all 180, so 180 would equal x plus y plus 28. That doesn't help me out much. Right here I've got two of these measures and I'm just missing one, so I can find this one pretty easily. For this triangle right here, I know all the interior angles have to equal 180. So, I know 180 has to equal 71 degrees plus 57 degrees plus whatever that is, let's just call that x. So, I've got 180 equals, and 71 plus 57 is going to be 128. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away 128 on both sides. That's going to cancel. I get x right here. And on this side, 180 minus 128, that is going to be 52. So I know that this is 52 degrees. And if you wanted to check that, if you added 52, 57, and 71, it should come out to 180. Now, for this one right here, this uses some knowledge that we have about straight lines. A straight line is always 180 degrees, and you can see that straight line's bisected right here. So essentially what I have, if you ignore all the triangle parts, is I have a 180 degree line, it's bisected. I know this is 57 degrees, this one I don't know. Straight lines always equal 180. So 180 is going to equal 57 plus x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take away 57 from both sides. Here it's going to cancel and leave me with x. And on this side, 180 minus 57 is going to be 123. So now I know that angle 1 is 123 degrees. And now that I know that, this triangle should be a piece of cake. I'm going to use this method as well. So basically I'm going to say this, all the sum of the interior angles on this triangle are equal to 180. So I'm going to say 180 equals 28 degrees plus 123 degrees plus x. So 123 plus 28, that's going to be 151. So now I have 180 equals 151 plus x. Now I'm going to take away 151 on both sides. That cancels. And I have 180 minus 151, which is going to be 29. So x equals 29. And that's how we solve one of those problems. Not as bad as they look. So the next thing that we need to go over is called the exterior angle theorem. Now, the exterior angle theorem, basically what that says is that the measure of the exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the measures of the two opposite, technically they say the two remote, but the two opposite interior angles. So let me break that down for you. Basically what that means is if you have a triangle, any triangle, so we got this one right here, and let's say this is point A, B, and point C. Now if you extend this triangle in any direction, let's call this x. So this exterior angle right here is angle x. And basically what they're saying is the angle formed here equals this interior angle plus this interior angle. So the measure of angle x, whatever number that is, that's going to equal the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B. Now, what if you extended this another way? Let's say we extended it right here, and let's say this angle from here to here, let's call this angle y. We would say the measure of angle y equals, now again, this angle right here, so the ones that are opposite are going to be that and that. If it helps, you can turn your paper to see that. Opposite this angle, boom, boom. So, we're going to say y equals the measure of angle A plus the measure of angle C. What if I extended it in this direction and I called this angle angle Z? I would say angle Z, the measure of that, equals the two opposite ones of this exterior, A and C. Notice that these are the same, A plus C, A plus C. And let's think about that. Doesn't that make sense? Look at this angle and look at this angle. And this is just a little bit of a refresher from before. I've got two lines crossing and I've got the opposite angles formed by it. These are vertical angles. And remember, vertical angles are always congruent. So that's why these are the same. Let's take a look up here. Let's say I extended this right here. And let's say we had this angle right here, and let's call this angle Q. This angle right here from this extended nub is equal to these two opposite ones added, so angle C plus angle B. So I would say Q, the measure of Q, equals measure of angle C plus the measure of angle B. So let's go ahead and practice one and see what this looks like with numbers. All right, so let's say we had this right here. Say this is 112 degrees. Say this is X, and this is 32 degrees. So if I wanted to know what X was, well, remember, the measure of this exterior angle is going to equal this plus this. So we have 112 equals 32 plus X. All we do, subtract 32 from both sides. That cancels, leaving X. And right here we get 80. There's our solution. Another way a similar question can be asked is if we have these two angles, 45 degrees, 56 degrees, and I want to know what the exterior angle is. So now we have X equals 56 plus 45. And all we do is just add these two numbers, and that is going to be 101. And it's just that easy, and that pretty much sums it up for this section.